Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're checking out a really fun and unique custom I did recently. This is my take on the Red Goblin, a pretty underrated and also OP character in the Marvel Comics. I believe he's back now with Normie under control, and I thought it'd be really fun to show off my spin on this guy. I love the Green Goblin, I love Carnage, so why not make both of them in one figure? I really pump up the nightmare fuel on this symbiote, and it really gave me the itch to start making even more symbiote characters. This is one of my most in-depth custom videos so far, and I'm really excited to get into it. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So when I was first planning out this character, I had this King Kordax figure from McFarlane. This is from the Aquaman 2 movie, I believe. And I thought this would be a good start for the figure. This definitely gives off maybe symbiotic vibes or that Carnage, like it has all these little pieces hanging off of it. So I thought this would be a really good start. And one thing I also wanted to add was robotic bits like coming out of the armor the best I could. I'm not a great sculptor, so I was gonna really push myself creatively to kit bash these figures, and I used this bat wing, and I also wanted to use this head from this Warhammer figure. I thought that would be really good too. Maybe use some other parts. We'll see as the character unfolds. As I'm taking the figures apart, I'll size it up real quick, and I see that this is going to work out pretty well. McFarlane is pretty plug and play, honestly, for the most part when kit bashing, which is why I love using McFarlane's for these customs, but it doesn't always go perfectly. So sizing it up real quick, it looks like it's going to work out. Now I'm going to go ahead and swap out some of the leg parts, swap out some of the limbs. Like I said, I want to show some robotic pieces coming through the symbiote, slowly taking over the Green Goblin armor. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of like thigh armor here, and then the symbiote coming from the feet, and then a little bit in the arms and such. This is definitely another huge perk to using McFarlane figures, is that it's all pinned, so it's a lot easier to swap around the limbs. And again, they don't always work out perfectly, but this one worked out really well. We don't lose any mobility and nothing looks a little wonky. And so far, this is what I'm looking like. This is a quick test fit to see what I think, and I think this looks okay, but I'm not fully set on it just yet. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and move to the armor bits and paint it up green, so it looks like Green Goblin. This I also showed in the Doc Ock video about a month or so. I used it as an example on how I do dry brushing. This is a technique I learned from Can I Make It. I use a dark green, about the darkest green I own, as the base. As you see, I didn't put it on very thick, because I knew I was going to do a lot of layers. Plus I want the metal shining through. So I did maybe 1-2 layers of really watered down dark green, and I'm going to slowly move my way down the line of lighter and lighter shade greens and just dry brush it on there to get a worn out metal armored look. So after the first shade of green is done, you see here we're already getting a little bit more depth, especially on the raised edges. It's going to come out really good as we continue going down the line of different greens. We can also compare it to the torso real quick because the camera doesn't pick it up perfectly. It already makes a huge difference, as you can see here, and it's just going to keep getting better. So let's go ahead and keep hitting it with more green. Now we're all done with the green layers. We'll show off the torso here. As you can see, we have so much more color variance on the green parts here, and this is looking so good. And it shows really well on the feet because of all the different little sculpting bits. So this is looking really good so far. Next up, we're going to move over to the arms. As you can see, I ended up swapping out the parts. I didn't use the King Kordax anymore. I ended up using this Spawn Hunt figure, or Haunt, and I think this is going to work out really well. I like the texturing better on this, and it scales a little bit better with the bat armor. You'll see later on when it's put together, I'll be able to explain it better. But I'm going to go ahead and steal these parts. I think these will be good for like tendril pieces coming off the figure. And then we're going to go ahead and split up the arms so we can do some variants with the armor bits again. So first thing we're going to do is add the Kordax arm lower half to the torso bit. I think this looks pretty good. I like the style on that forearm. And now we have it all painted up black. I want to paint everything black before I start adding red so that all the color is the same consistency with the red, because the base color is going to make a huge difference. And if I think I did a combo of base color green and black, it would be all over the place. As you can see here though, I did keep all of the leg parts King Kordax for now. We painted that up all black too, and then we'll go ahead and paint it red. This is going to be the first level of red we do. We're going to do several layers of red ultimately to get the color we're going for, because I want a really rich red for Carnage. After one coat, this is how it's looking. As you can see, it's still extremely dark because red over black is a little bit tricky, but as we hit more and more layers and get lighter and lighter on the red, it'll start to show better, as you can already see here. So let's go ahead and do that. And as we clean up the first coat of the lighter red, this is already looking a lot better, and I'm really digging how this looks. So we're going to go ahead and grab the arms for the haunt and paint it up the same way. Now, one thing I really liked about the haunt is that it's got a lot of those white parts, and so we're getting a lot of cool color variants. As you see here, it's a really bright red because we're going over white, and then a much darker red after we go over to black. So that's another big reason why I wanted to use a combination of the arms, and you'll see once it's all put together, it makes a lot more sense. And with the first coat of the brighter red on the arms, we're all done. Again, like I said, the variants of color I really like so far, and I think it's coming out really good. I'm excited to keep going. Now we'll move over to the chest. I already painted this up a couple times, and as you can see here, another example, like I said, that variance in color. So from the neck to about the shoulder is that brighter red, and that's how it will flow into the shoulder, and then the arms, and it'll be darker red as we go down. I also love this sculpting and this little symbol on the chest as well. I ended up using the haunt diaper piece as well and painted up some of the piping on the little torso to make it look like the Carnage symbiote is pumping through the armor. I forgot to film it, but I also did a metallic dry brush, as you can see some of the details there. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and touch up the last little bit of details on this torso so we can clear coat it and start putting this figure together. All right, now with the torso and the chest all finished and put together, we clear coated it. This is another example of what I was saying, that this chest is a lot smaller, so it flows a lot better from the torso to the chest. The Cordax was a little bit too big, so it kind of looked a little wonky. But now let's go ahead and paint up all these little parts black. This is going to get all that typical black coloring that we get on Carnage, and I think this will look really, really good. And like I said, this definitely helps me by being able to follow these lines and not have to come up with it on my own. And as we finish up the black on this little logo here, as you can see, like I said, this sculpt looks so good. This is perfect for Carnage, and I'm really digging it. So we'll go ahead and paint the rest of the torso black off camera. And next up, let's move over to the arms. So this arm's looking really good. This is the right arm. I ended up swapping out the lower half, which was originally in King Kordax. With the armored bit, I think there just wasn't enough armor on the top half to kind of give that asymmetric armor oozing out type look I was going for. And so we did the preliminary, really watered down dark green, and we're going to go ahead and do the same method I used on the other green bits of armor. Just take lighter and lighter shades of green, slowly dry brush over it, and then we'll go ahead and use a metallic at the very end. We are using a lot of the same techniques I talked about on the leg and the chest. We just took the darkest green, put a real light layer on there, and then now we're going to take a lot of these lighter greens and just go one by one and add more and more layers, dry brushing, and then at the end I will take a metallic dry brush on top of that. And after we're all done with the green dry brush, this is what we're looking at. This looks really, really good. And then the metallic dry brush at the end will really tie it all together. And as we finish up the metallic dry brush, we'll take a closer look here, and it looks so much better. Like I said, it really tied it all together, and I'm really digging how this looks. Next up, I want to use this sword in replacement of the hand on the right arm, and I think this would be really cool. Just really add more menacing look to him. So we're going to go ahead and carve out the extra plastic in the forearm so that the sword handle can fit into there. And as we test fit it, it fits in there really good to begin with, but I will end up super gluing it just so that it's that much sturdier. I'm also going to go ahead and add a metallic dry brush to this because it just looked way too clean in comparison to the forearm armor. Let's take a look at it now, and this is looking amazing with the dry brush on top of that. Now we can finally start finishing up all the little black details on the arms, and I did a lot of this off camera, but as you can see here, we went pretty heavy on certain parts. I followed a lot of the sculpting, especially on the shoulders. You can see there's a lot extra sculpting I could paint on, so this is looking really good. This is what the torso ended up coming out like, and I like this a lot too. I went really heavy with the black. I looked at a lot of source material for Carnage, and this is kind of what I interpreted as such. This is the left arm. Again, from the elbow down is still King Kordax, and then the top is a spawned haunt. So we'll go ahead and paint this up. And now we're finished with the hand, and this is looking really good, so we'll just go ahead and continue that down the whole arm. Next up, let's move to one of the more fun details of the Red Goblin is the tail. I honestly don't know why he has a tail. Green Goblin and Carnage don't. So if you could let me know in the comments why he does in canon, I'd love to find out. But I want to add this tail. This is from a NECA Alien. I want to add it to the diaper. Like I talked about in the Scorpion video, I want to figure out if I can screw this in so that's that much sturdier than just regular super glue. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out some extra plastic at the bottom here first, because it's not sitting on the diaper piece all the way of the Batwing figure. So I want to make it sit a little bit better first. And with all the extra plastic carved out, we'll slide it on, and this is sitting a lot better now. This is where I wanted it to sit. There was just a little bit too much gap on the back originally, but now this is better, so we'll go ahead and figure out how we can fit that tail on here. So I'm thinking if we drill a hole above that little track where the diaper piece slides onto the little leg ball joints, that we can sneak a screw in there if it's small enough and low profile enough. So let's go ahead and try that. Now that we've drilled out and reamed out the hole on the diaper piece with this little pin vise, which is an absolute game changer, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the tail. So we went ahead and put it together, and it worked perfectly. I put a little bit of super glue on there too before I screwed it in, and so this tail is not going anywhere ever. Now we popped the figure all together, and this is looking amazing so far. I'm really happy with how this came out. I think all these pieces together are looking really good, better than I anticipated. Switching to the haunt figure for a lot of these parts actually worked out really well. As you can see, I swapped around some of the lower parts too. We used a diaper piece from the haunt and the upper thigh on this leg from the haunt. It just flows a lot better from the diaper piece to the leg if it was all one sculpt. I also made sure to paint the tail red and black. I love little black details here and there to really add that Carnage vibe, especially on the top of that tail. This looks really, really good so far. A lot of these tendril pieces and painting them a brighter red, I think that works really good as well. Now that pretty much everything else is done, we just need to move on to the head and paint a lot of the black details on there. As you can see, the red is done, but now let's add some of the black. And with all the black details added, this is what he's looking like. And this is absolutely terrifying and menacing. That was what I was going for. I really wanted to crank up the nightmare fuel on this guy. And this is definitely achieved with this head. And so to clear coat it, this is the fun trick that I learned during this custom. I ended up using nail polish for all of the symbiote pieces. I read somewhere on Reddit, I believe, that using nail polish really nails that slimy look. And it is really, really sturdy. This paint job holds up so well now. I used it on all the joints and the shoulder bits, and there's absolutely zero paint chipping. And with the final touches complete, we are all done with the Red Goblin. And this was so much fun to do. I had so much fun recording this and making this. I learned a lot of new techniques while working on this guy, like the nail polish trick, and just a lot of the improvising along the way because some of the pieces weren't going together. So swapping out pieces here and there. and everything came out so good, better than I thought. This was a vision in my head that actually came out on 3D just as good as I wanted it to, which doesn't always happen if you're a customizer or artist in any way, you probably know. One of my favorite parts of this custom was all these tiny details we were able to fit in there, like the little hoses on the armored bits being red, so it looks like the Carnage symbiotes being fed through there. A lot of the black detailing work, the worn out look on the sword and on the armored bits. This custom took a while, and I really took my time with it because I wanted it to be perfect, but it was really worth the extra time and energy because this just came out so good. So yeah, that's my take on the Red Goblin. This was so much fun. This is the first long form video that doesn't involve the Sinister Six. This is my longest long form video. This was so much fun. This was a really fun take on such a unique character that we don't see a bunch of. So guys, if you like this, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Now that we're done with the Sinister Six, there's going to be even more fun and ridiculous characters coming out that you're not going to want to miss. Also, if you're on Instagram or TikTok, you can find me there. And if you have a Discord, I highly recommend you join mine because it's so much fun. We hang out in there all the time. I stream every Friday on YouTube. And again, guys, thank you so much for your continued support, and I will see you in the next one.